All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking way up at one of the most incredible things humanity has ever built. I'm talking about the International Space Station, which is basically a city floating in our sky.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever been outside on a clear night, looked up, and seen what looks like a really bright star, but it's moving? It's gliding silently across the sky. You know it's not a plane because there are no blinking lights. Just this one steady bright dot.
Well, if you've seen that, there's a really good chance you weren't looking at a star. Nope, you were probably watching the International Space Station. And get this, at that exact moment, there were astronauts living and working inside. So, let's dive into that a little more. What exactly are we seeing from down here on Earth?
Okay, so that little point of light, it is moving unbelievably fast. It whips around the entire planet once every 90 minutes. That means it completes a full lap 16 times every single day. Can you even imagine that? Seeing 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets in just 24 hours. Wow.
And it's doing all of this from an altitude of about 400 kilometers. That's roughly 250 miles, straight above our heads. You know, to put that into perspective, that's kind of like the driving distance from London to Paris, except you're going straight up.
But that's just the view from here. That little dot of light is so much more. It is, without a doubt, the largest and most complex thing we have ever built in space.
So, what is this thing really? Well, if you boil it down, the ISS is basically three things all rolled into one. It's a state-of-the-art science lab, it's a test bed for new space technology, and, it's a home for the astronauts living up there. And when I say largest, I am not kidding. From one end to the other, the station is 109 meters long. I want you to just picture a full-size American football field, end zones and all. Now imagine that entire thing just floating in orbit.
But you know what? As incredible as its size is, what might be even more amazing is who built it. This wasn't just one country's pet project. No way. The ISS is this incredible symbol of collaboration between 5 huge space agencies: NASA in the US, Roscosmos from Russia, the European Space Agency, JAXA in Japan, and the CSA in Canada. I mean, what a team-up.
So, the whole thing kicked off back in 1998 when Russia launched the very first piece, a module called Zarya. Then just 2 years after that, in 2000, the first crew moved in. And here's the crazy part. Since that day in November 2000, there has always been someone living in space. We've had a continuous human presence off-planet ever since.
Okay, so we've established it's huge, and it's been up there for a while. But what are the astronauts actually doing all day? Well, its main job, its whole reason for being, is to be this completely unique laboratory in orbit.
Usually, you'll find a crew of about 7 astronauts on board, from all over the world. And they're not just up there for a quick trip, like a weekend getaway. A standard mission is about 6 months long. Think about that. Half a year away from your family, your friends, and, well, gravity.
So what's the point of it all? Why are they there?
Really, their work comes down to 3 main things. First, they study how microgravity affects everything: people, plants, you name it. Second, they test out new technologies that we're going to need for future space missions. And third, all of this is really about preparing us for the big stuff, those long-haul trips to the moon and eventually to Mars.
And the kind of science they're doing up there is just mind-blowing. We're talking biology, physics, astronomy, even earth science and medicine that directly helps us back down here. It's also a hub for developing new tech. It really is a scientific powerhouse floating in the sky.
All right, so the ISS has done incredible work for science for more than 2 decades now. It's been amazing. But what's next? What does its future look like after 2030?
And that really is the big question on everyone's mind in the space world right now. So, what happens next?
Well, the official plan right now, the one all the international partners have agreed on, is to keep the station running until at least 2030. So that's great. It means we still have a good few years of amazing science and discovery ahead of us.
But what about after 2030? Well, the thinking is starting to shift. The era of these giant government-funded space stations might be coming to an end, at least in low Earth orbit.
The future could be all about commercial space stations, smaller, maybe more specialized habitats run by private companies.
You see, the International Space Station was always more than just a lab. It's been this shining symbol of peace and what we can achieve when we collaborate. It proved that, yeah, we can actually build a home for ourselves out there among the stars. So the real question for the next generation isn't if we're going to build the next one, it's just where.